All right, everybody, welcome in and welcome back. Season 4, episode 30, aka our 141st show. Andy, we are getting towards the end, so some things get less interesting, some things get more interesting, but I'm excited about this week's podcast.
Yeah, this will be fun. I think this will be, at least for myself, I know I'm not going to try to spend too much time on United because really the score doesn't really matter. It was more of other things that were happening in the match.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if the same is for you because you already know you've won the league. Like, what's the team playing for at this point?
Sure. Well, in the first, they had a midweek game, which was kind of weird to see. But in the midweek game, it looked like they were playing for nothing. I mean, it was
That's how it goes.
Very, very much hangover. Very much hangover from the victory parade and everything that went on after beating Real Madrid in El Clasico. I mean, it was only a couple of days after anyway. So it's like, I mean, some of those players were probably still hungover, to be honest.
Yeah, I bet. Seeing some of the videos, what they're doing, all the stuff they're doing, like Rashford, I know Rashford is off his rocker. So
Yeah. Yep. So, it was actually a 1-0 defeat. It was our first defeat in the league in like 12 matches or something like that, which was crazy to think about. So, yeah, and Alaves was actually a relegation team, and we'll get to why they're no longer a relegation team and when we get to the La Liga section. But, I mean, it was very much like a B team lineup, not much to kind of write home about. Szczesny got his first start in months. Probably like 6 months maybe, which was great to see. So, I mean, but again, the team really couldn't do anything. They didn't really have any firepower anywhere really. So, nobody'd really break down a low block that Alaves was playing. And it just got beat 1-0, which, bummer because I wanted to hit 100 points. But again, it's not the end of the world. Like the league we talked about it last week. It's wrapped up. It's put a bow on it. It's over. But I don't think Hansi was the happiest after that. I think he understood, but I don't think he was the happiest because then he put out, I wouldn't say our A team, but a much better team against Real Betis over the weekend. And we had a 3-1 win over them. So it was like two completely different squads, which was nice to see. Rafinha got his first start in a while. He actually had 2 goals, including a free kick goal, which now makes him 1 for 50 for Barcelona on free kicks. That's for those of you counting at home, that's a 2% conversion rate.
Yeah, that's not better. I mean, I have a 0% conversion rate, so he's only, and I think you do too. So honestly, he's only 2 points better than us, 2 percentage points better than us.
Yep. So, but it was really nice to see him. And then Joao Cancelo actually got to play as a left winger after Rafinha was taken off, and he actually scored, which was exciting to see. So, and his loan spell is coming to an end. And I honestly, if I were Deco, I would work hard to sign him, especially if we're not going to sign Rashford. Even if we do sign Rashford, Joao Cancelo is such a versatile player where, he left back by trade. He can play right back, but he can play left winger. I mean, he showed it in this game. Like he is a very offensive left winger. And if we're not going to have a backup for Rafinha, we're going to have to sign somebody. I mean, like Joao Cancelo is somebody we could probably get on the cheap.
Yeah.
So
I think so, especially if you can communicate with him and if he's down to just kind of stay and play like a bit part, like that would honestly not be too bad because then you don't have to shell as much money out.
Yep.
And, like you have some coverage.
Yep. So, we'll see what happens with that going forward. But I think the biggest, 2 big news points. The first one, Andy, Barcelona was undefeated at home in La Liga this season. 19 games, 19 wins in La Liga, which has never happened in the history of La Liga.
Oh, wow. That's impressive. Because usually teams are like at the top, like home is their fortress. Like they just don't lose. They don't lose at home. They don't drop points at home. But that's really astonishing.
Yep. Especially for all the great teams Barcelona's had over the years, Real Madrid's had over the years, throwing Atletico Madrid in there too. Like you would think somebody would have gone undefeated at home, but no, nobody has gone undefeated, no losses.
Yeah, not even like the 2009, 2011, I think it was 2011 teams. Like they didn't even do that. That's really surprising.
I mean, it's not unheard of to like get a draw at home. right? Where sometimes, you just don't have it, or the other team is really, gunning for you. But yeah, Barcelona undefeated, no losses, no draws at home this season in La Liga, which is super exciting to see. So definitely something to build on going into next year. So the second point, Andy, is leading up to that game over the weekend against Real Betis. I think it was a day or two before Lewandowski announced that he will be leaving the club at the end of the season. His contract is up, and I think he saw the writing on the wall where he wasn't going to be re-signed, just wasn't really in the plans moving forward. And it's a really sad day. I think it's a sad day for a lot of Barcelona fans who are serious about the club, because 4 years ago, Lewandowski joined this club and we were nowhere. Like, Messi was either leaving or gone at that point. We had no prospects. We were terrible, but by Barcelona standards, terrible. And he decided to leave Bayern, which was in a really good state. I mean, Bayern was extremely good at that point. And he decided, I'm going to go to Barcelona. And I don't know if you remember this, Andy, because this is right around the time we started the podcast. And I was freaking out. I was like, holy crap, we got like, of all the people, we got Robert Lewandowski. Like, we can get back. We can get back to where we were. And he did. I mean, I think he featured 100 something games for Barcelona. I think it was like 111 games and scored 109 times or something like that. Just really, really incredible. Basically averaging a goal a game for Barcelona, which is amazing.
Especially just getting the team that he was in to still manufacture goals like that.
Yeah, especially at the beginning, it's just like, man. And even in the Xavi Hernandez era, which was very much you keep the ball, you don't basically attack unless you have a really clear opportunity kind of thing. Not the Hansi Flick era of Barcelona at all, but just so thankful. He didn't have to, but it was one of his dreams, something he decided to do. And I'm just so grateful, because I think he is one of the main reasons Barcelona is where it's at today. Given its recent history. So super sad day, sad seeing him emotional. I mean, his wife, his 2 daughters came on the field. Everybody was crying. He was crying. It's just, I mean, sad. It's sad. Especially like all season we've talked about it. He just hasn't had it this season. I mean, the drop off between last season and this season is way more apparent, especially given how good he was in the previous season.
Yeah.
And it's just sad. It's one of those players where he's not my favorite, but he seems like a staple of Barcelona for everything that he's done for the club, right? So, yeah, just sad to see him go, but so thankful. Like, thank you so much for everything you did for this club.
Yeah, he sounds like he kind of embodies that word, like servant of the club. Like, I think 100%. He was a really good servant, because he seems to be the one that kind of like carried the tide over of, like, again, like, not in the best Barcelona team, wasn't able to win a Champions League. But again, like, putting that all into perspective, not many teams win the Champions League out of however many teams that are competing just to play in Europe and things. To win it is very, very tough. So putting that as like a perspective there. And I remember too, people saying, like, at his prime, he was the best striker in Europe. Yes, there was like Messi and Ronaldo that were also in Europe, but even when I think Ronaldo, when he had gone to Juventus to be a striker, I think Lewandowski was still better. I think still more well-rounded as that all-encompassing striker. Yeah. So, and you're not seeing so many of those nowadays. You see an Erling Haaland, but that's kind of it in terms of top strikers. Hoping, selfishly, Šeško gets up there, but he really is one of the best at his job, best at his roles. So to have someone like that is very special. So I hope he gets remembered more as like years go on, and looking back and seeing how crucial that he was to Barcelona.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. Couldn't have said it better myself. So, yeah. It was an emotional day yesterday, emotional day today, and it was his last home game. It was his last home game, and he was able to be the captain. He hasn't been the captain for many games because there are some stalwarts at the club that have been there for longer. So cool to see him have the armband. Cool to see him subbed off, and everybody in the stands wanted him to get a goal.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, it didn't work out for him, but that's okay. It is what it is.
It happens. And hey, like honestly, that send off I think is sometimes better than the send off you're kind of even seeing for Mohamed Salah, where Salah's fighting with his manager and being outspoken there. But when you notice that there's a dip off in form, so him taking that step to be like, I need to move on for the best of the club. I think again like that adds that recognition of like what he is as a professional and how he treats the club, how he feels about it. Is very, very special, man. So
and kind of to go on that point, it's not like it was one of those things where like at the end of the season he just wasn't getting minutes. It was like consistently throughout the season, right? Like everybody could tell, probably himself included, like I just don't have that gear anymore. Like not where he was, right? It's not like he was bad by any means, but it just wasn't up to that Lewandowski kind of standard that we'd been used to seeing.
Sure.
So he kind of felt it, but he accepted his role with grace. I know he and Hansi have a great relationship, and they were very good with each other, I think, in communicating and setting expectations based on where they saw where he was at for the season. So, I'd kind of forgotten about Mohamed Salah, but it's not a given that a player like that is just going to take things in stride and be like, I'm going to do what's best for the club. Not many people do that. And I take it for granted, I think, because so many Barcelona players over the years have just done what's best for the club. So
they have, definitely.
Yeah. So I'm almost getting emotional over here, so I'm going to pass it over to you.
I didn't realize Lewandowski. I didn't realize that Lewandowski could left that much of an imprint. But I guess in a way it can.
It's one of those situations where it's not like, again, Barcelona wasn't the best of La Liga, even close to the best in Europe at the time where he came over. And the amount of excitement that I had when I heard that he was signing was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm proud to be Barcelona again. Like we are still a world power. Didn't feel like it at the time. And it's so nice to look back and see the memories of everything he's done for Barcelona over the years and to where he basically dragged this club to. Again, I mentioned it before, but like I guess I didn't really realize it until after yesterday and thought back on everything that he went through as a Barcelona player. You take it for granted and you forget, right? You kind of forget about how bad we were several years ago because of how good we've been in recent years, right? You're kind of trapped in the present and the immediate past of this season, of these last couple of months, and you kind of forget everything that happened a few months ago unless you take a look back and really reflect on where we've gotten to. So
powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff. It's what soccer does to you. It's what these players do to us, and what they give for their clubs. So
and it really epitomizes Barcelona's like més que un club, like more than a club. It just really is. It feels like a family. I think why I feel so emotional. It feels like we're losing a family member, and it's like it's a sport. Like we recognize that, but sometimes it feels like more.
Oh, for sure. Because I think that kind of segues honestly even into the talk with Casemiro, where he had been through so many up and downs. Because actually we got him the same. He's been at the club for four seasons, same as Lewandowski. And what's really I think the big thing that a lot of people say is that his son is a United fan. His son is not a Madridista. His son is
how old is his son?
I think he's like 8 or 9. He's young. He's a young little guy. And I think Casemiro also has a daughter that's I think older, but. Casemiro's known
5, I think.
5. Okay.
Yeah. Which that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. but even knowing like Casemiro was always like Real Madrid. Like he won his 5 Champions Leagues at Real Madrid. He was known at Real Madrid for like the midfielder that he was. But I think he's going to look. I'd be curious, like when he's done, and saying like where he enjoyed the most. I want to say, even with the up and down, the up, the down, then the up that he had at United, I think he might say United more. Yes, I'm biased, of course.
Yeah,
but
it'd be interesting to hear his answer on that for sure.
Yeah, but I've never. He's so thankful to the fans, and because he constantly mentions how the fans treated him, like his family, his kids. I think too, just even when he was in that up and down spell, where yes, like there was a time where even I know I admit this of calling him out of being like it's past and it isn't, because he looked like that at the time.
Yeah.
But I think what he has done now in the past year, in applying himself, reinventing, not applying himself that he wasn't, but having to change. Wanting to change and making that change this late in your career, where again you could be like a Mo Salah, throw people under the bus, throw coaches under the bus. He never did that.
Right.
Like he didn't like send out little feelers to be like, someone come save me, because players do that, and sometimes it's encouraged for players to do that.
Yeah.
But he decided that he wanted to work and get back his place, and I think that's very telling for the club, for everything. So. Like seeing his up and down his trajectory, I think what he did, really speaks to that United ethos of, always giving like that 100% work, right? You may have certain weaknesses or whatever, but what really people care about is, do you give everything, and do you show your strengths, and do you play to your strengths when you can?
Yeah.
And I think he did that, and I think he's definitely going to be remembered too for, I think, his response from where he was at one point in his career to getting back here. Because now I don't think we're going to need 2 to 3 people potentially to replace Casemiro. That's how important he was. The goals that he scored for us, how he was able to cover so much ground, even at his age as a defensive midfielder, doing so much of the dirty work, and just his like general like intelligence. Man, I'm probably going to realize this more next season, but I'm really going to miss him. So I'm going to miss Casamigos for sure. Yeah. So yeah. Now I'm feeling a little sad too for missing Casamigos. But we have good news. Good news is one. I guess there's 3 pieces of good news. One, beat Nottingham Forest at Old Trafford. 3-2. Little bit of controversy. I don't really care about the controversy because in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really change a whole lot. So I'll take that because we were going to get third anyway. If it ended up being a 2-2 game, or it wouldn't have mattered, we'd still have our same points, and Nottingham Forest are safe. So it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. 2, Bruno got his 20th assist.
Nice. So
he's now etched in. Something interesting, I think, for European and like soccer is that like if you match someone's record, you get put down as like holding that record, which I kind of think is nice because it's like it's its own unique achievement. Just give it to them, give them flowers.
Yeah.
And then third is news, not official, but there is news that United has given Carrick a 2-year deal to become the permanent manager. Nice. I've probably said this before. Yeah. What's up?
I was just going to say, so did Hansi Flick. He just actually signed a 2-year extension as well.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. 2 years, I think, is great. I think that's a really smart thing of saying like, hey, like you'll still have work, but we'll see you through a bit of a rough patch if it happens, but there's no guarantee that you're going to get it, So if it's something happens and past the year, you give that person to the end of the season. And then you say like, hey, thank you for your service. It's not working out. So that works for the club. That works for Carrick. Big for United because, again, like I've mentioned before, Ineos now have someone that is going that they're going to kind of have leverage on, in a sense that Carrick is not going to be barking up the chain to be like, hey, you need to get me this player. He still might, but he might be able to find a way to work. He'll have to find a way to work with Ineos to make that happen. He won't be able to go nuclear like Amorim did, or even Ten Hag could sometimes say too for things. So I think that's big. So it's a better setup, I think, from what the top down wants. So let's just hope that they can deliver and make some changes there. So those are three kind of bits of news to share with to share for United. So yeah, that's where we're at. The vibes are little bit of sad boy, but it's a good feeling of sad. Just wish our guys were younger. Just wish they could be younger playing for our clubs.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
So heading into the vibe check, I'm actually going to give this over to you, Paul, because I think you did some good work here for the Bundesliga. What's going on in the race for the bottom?
Yeah, so we're going to look at the bottom battle. We're also going to look at the European spots. I think I'd say some of the most interesting parts, since the winner we already know is Bayern Munich. So going into this week, this was actually the last week of Bundesliga games because they have 2 less teams, which means they play a couple weeks less of games compared to the other leagues. So Stuttgart and Hoffenheim were 1 point apart in going into this weekend. Depending on how things worked out, one of those 2 teams were going to get Champions League and one was going to get Europa League. So Stuttgart had the tougher matchup against Frankfurt. They drew 2-2, which gave Hoffenheim the ability to leapfrog them if they got a win, but they were upset 4-0 by Mönchengladbach. And that's, very much a mid to lower tier table. So very much an upset and huge by that scoreline too. So as a result, Stuttgart gets the Champions League, Hoffenheim gets Europa League. And then in the bottom battle, we had Wolfsburg playing St. Pauli and then Heidenheim. So St. Pauli was already relegated. Or no, they were tied, I should say. So Wolfsburg, St. Pauli, and Heidenheim were kind of competing for that last kind of play-in to the ability to stay up, because that's what the third to last team gets in the Bundesliga. So Wolfsburg actually beat St. Pauli 3-1. And Heidenheim lost to Mainz 2-0, which means St. Pauli and Heidenheim get regulated. Wolfsburg is now in the play-in, playoff, whatever you want to call it, to remain up. It's actually a 2-leg affair, which is interesting. So,
yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, they're making it like a playoff. So just 2. I'm guessing it's this one. If there's 28 teams, it would be the 25th and the 24th.
Well, there's 18 teams in the Bundesliga.
18. That's right.
So 2 teams are going to get in automatically. So my guess is it's the third highest team in the second tier.
Okay. Gotcha. So it's who's like the two left after the one's officially relegated or battling out to see who's gonna stay in. Okay.
Yep.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Interesting stuff.
Yep.
Germany does it just a little bit differently.
Yes. Yeah, they always got to be a little different. Well, especially only having 18 teams. It's like such a weird number. Every other league has 20, which just makes sense.
Yeah.
But whatever. So,
hey, German efficiency, they don't want so much fun, I guess, is the idea. We'll see. All right. So, La Liga, Paul. Yeah,
yes.
Tell me now more about La Liga. I know we teased this a little bit earlier. What's going on for La Liga?
Well, it's very clustered. So Z and I were kind of talking about this. Barcelona playing Real Betis. Going into that match, Barcelona was 34 points ahead of Real Betis, and Real Betis is in 5th with 57 points.
Shit.
Barcelona was on 91. That's how many points ahead Barcelona was ahead of Real Betis.
That's incredible.
So, yeah. Yeah, it's just wild. So it's very clogged in the middle. I mean, the 7th place team, Getafe, has 48 points and Girona has 40 points. And Girona is the last team out, so going down, potentially going into this last league game. So it's really congested. For brevity's sake, I won't kind of go through like the full results of who played who and whatnot, but kind of starting at the bottom, Real Oviedo, they're already relegated on 29 points. Mallorca has 39. They lost, which doesn't cement them as getting relegated, but they're darn close. Because they have 39 points. The next team that's safe is 42. There's actually 3 teams with 42, so they're going to need a little bit of help. They would have to win and have some help to stay up. Girona, they lost this weekend, so they actually fell into the relegation zone, whereas Elche, who is now in 17th, they won, so they are safe. Osasuna and Levante right now are safe on 42 points as well, but they could easily be relegated. Alaves has won 2 in a row. So if you'll remember, they're the ones who played Barcelona 2 league games ago and got a surprise win. So they've played themselves out of the relegation zone. They were in the relegation zone too. Sevilla lost, and Athletic Club Bilbao, Andy, in 12th place is crazy to think about. But they are technically safe because they have 45 points they drew over the weekend. So from there up, those teams are safe with the 45 points. So just crazy to think about that we have almost half the table still playing for relegation.
Yeah, that's insane. I think, man, so many people in Spain are probably getting heart attack medicine because I don't know if they can deal with however many people supporting their clubs are dealing with that. That's incredible. So
absolutely,
wow, what's going to make the last game of the season that much more interesting? So I might have to check in to see what happens.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I think the other battle that I know is happening for a bottom battle in Serie A is kind of coming down to the wire. So starting at the bottom of the table, and I'll work my way back up, this is kind of, I think, fascinating, is all 3 of the teams that are facing that last spot in relegation all won. So what that means is Cagliari, who has 40 points now, they're going to be safe because Lecce, it has 35, it's just underneath them. They're not going to be able to catch Cagliari, and Lecce are just above the relegation zone. So with Cremonese winning their match, we have 1 point separating Lecce and Cremonese. So Cremonese obviously need to win, and Lecce to either draw or lose to remain in Serie A. So this could get really dicey. It will just come down to that final game it's just going to come down to that final game because, oh man, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Anyone would want to play spoiler for that. But Cagliari is safe. So it really comes down to just Lecce and Cremonese. Crazy enough, the one above Cagliari, Fiorentina, who are sitting at 41, they actually beat Juventus, who were hoping to get into the top 4 spots. Now, Roma had their Roma derby this past weekend. Roma won their derby. So they now sit at 70 points, Roma. They are in 4th. Milan are in 3rd with 70 points. Napoli just won against Pisa, and so that confirms them for the Champions League. So heading into now the final match of the season, we are looking at Juventus, Como, and Roma trying to fight and maintain their or to try to fight for that last Champions League spot.
And Milan,
with Milan too potentially dropping down if points go south for them. So lots to play for. There could be a huge reshuffling. Juventus sitting out in looks like the Europa League, might find themselves in the Champions League. Milan might find themselves in the Europa League. It's all still left to play for those teams. Yeah, so lots happening there. Heading to the Premier League, Paul, Arsenal get their customary 1-0 eked out victory over Burnley. So they
probably with some scrum off a corner, right?
Probably some scrum. Yeah, I honestly didn't look. The main thing that I saw was that there should have probably been a red card. And I say probably because it's Arsenal, and I would like that for that to happen. Um, their next match is going to be against Crystal Palace. Lots being talked about there that Crystal Palace are trying to win a trophy in Europe, so they may rest a little bit for Arsenal. I don't necessarily know. That's a London derby. I think a lot of people in Crystal Palace would love to spoil the party for that. City, however, they play tomorrow against Bournemouth, and they need to win to have a chance because they are 5 points back. So just to have a chance at the end of the day or end of the season, they need to win their victory there. And Bournemouth are not a slouch team, I would say. They're not a slouch team.
Nope.
Now, if we go down into the bottom battle, West Ham lose pretty bad to Newcastle, and they are now 2 points off from safety. Tottenham have that place ahead of them, and I believe if they win, I want to say they are going to be. Well, actually, I think they still have a game. They might have a game in hand, actually. So,
they do. They do. Yeah.
Yep. So Tottenham just need to not drop. Honestly, they just need points. They get a draw, they'll be okay. Yeah. And if they get a draw, I think in these next couple matches, they'll be okay. So they just cannot afford to lose. But
it would be so funny if they lost twice. Like, I don't wish that on anybody's club, but it'd be funny.
It would be funny. It would just be funny. So here we are for that. It'd be kind of funny if Tottenham get relegated and Arsenal lose the Premier League title. That'd be kind of funny. But we shall see, and we'll hold off on that. If you're curious, Liverpool lost to Villa. So Villa now have the 4th spot. Liverpool have 59 points in 5th, and 5th this year is going to be enough for Champions League. So it's been a little bit of a topsy-turvy time for Liverpool.
Yeah, but Bournemouth, with their game in hand, if Bournemouth goes win-win and Liverpool draws or loses, then Bournemouth would actually leapfrog them into that 5th spot.
That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, that little beachside town can knock out a big European giant.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I hope not, because I really would just love for last minute, because too, Pep has just announced that he is leaving at the end of the season. Or
Pep Guardiola?
Yep, he's leaving.
Wow. Has he said where he's going yet?
I don't think so. I mean, I'd love for him to maybe go to Italy. I think that would be cool to see him go into an Italian team to try to bring his style there. Seeing if that helps the squad there. I don't know how much it would, because it would probably taint a lot of the play style there, but Italy needs some help. Maybe he goes there, maybe he goes to France, maybe he goes to Mexico. He played in Mexico, so he could come over here. Yeah. So lots of things that he could potentially do here. But anyway, that's what I'm hoping for.
Do we want to talk about FA Cup final? Was it FA Cup? Yeah, it was, right?
Oh, I think it was. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
City won.
And
I don't know what else. What else? City won. I think they won 1-0 to like a really crap. I mean, Chelsea's just going for the PR. Chelsea announced that they are now signing Xabi Alonso as their manager, which came immediately after they lost.
Wow.
Which is just kind of weird. Of being like, hey, forget we just lost something. We have a new manager now. Yay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you watched that game. I turned that game on with about 30 minutes to go or so. By the way, Semenyo's goal was nuts. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I didn't.
Holland got a ball played into him. He went down the right side. He cuts it back square, and Semenyo's running away from the goal, and he flicks it with the inside of his right foot.
Wow.
Like while he's jumping, and it just slides right past the keeper. It was really nice.
Crazy.
But other than that, it was like there wasn't that much to talk about. And Chelsea Chelsea couldn't even get the ball into the final third, really. Like, even trying to throw people forward, it was just like it just looked like a pretty pathetic effort.
Yeah, it's just they're sloppy. I don't know. There's so much player power in Chelsea, and buying all these young players for a big price tag has just inflated that, I think, too.
Yeah.
So I think that's made it a really tough place to kind of manage and try to actually get something and get a tune out of these players. So
yeah, but it cannot be worse than Real Madrid, man.
No,
it might not be much better.
As toxic.
It might not be much better, but it cannot be worse.
Yeah, it's not going to be worse. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be worse than Real Madrid. At least you're getting a little bit out of there and into somewhere else that. Yeah, I mean Chelsea isn't Real Madrid. I think they just got the long short of it. So he might fare a little bit better, but I don't know. Will his style translate to the Premier League? How's he going to have to learn? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's what we'll see next season. All right, we'll head to our last part of the show, our super subs and super duds. Paul, who are you giving your shout out to, your super sub and your super dud?
Yeah, super sub Lewandowski. It was just really great to see the ovation the fans gave him. I'll give an honorary mention to Antoine Griezmann as well, because he is leaving Atletico Madrid for the MLS 2. And kind of funny watching him apologize to Atletico Madrid fans for leaving Atletico Madrid for Barcelona for a year or two. But it was really funny seeing Diego Simeone's comments. Because he was basically like, yeah, we're not that close, but he's special to me. And it's like, okay.
Nice.
And I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what it was said. So, and the ESPN FC team was calling out Diego Simeone for his tears during the Antoine Griezmann speech after the game. It was quite funny. But yeah, it's just sad to see these players who we've kind of grown up watching and grown to love or hate or both, especially for me, kind of for that Griezmann conversation. But between him and Lewandowski, just sad to see these stalwarts kind of moving on, and they're going to be done in a few years, which is it's very sad to see. I mean, again, it's players we've grown up watching.
Yeah.
And just kind of sad to see them leave.
It is, because I think it's definitely, soccer has changed so much, I think, since we even started watching it, I think. So seeing, I think, those players just kind of rings that in of like, it is going to change, and like, it's going to be like, what are we going to miss? Like, what are we going to wish being like, oh, like we wish there was a Lewandowski like 5-goal thriller from him, or are we going to miss a Grisou? I don't know, a Grisou shot, or like when he was playing for France, his partnership with Olivier Giroud. People aren't going to remember Olivier Giroud and actually how good Olivier Giroud was and how important he was for France winning a World Cup. Things like that. I think it's going to, it's just a new stage. It's a new stage. So I think it's good to give him the super sub, because he'll be sorely missed. He'll be sorely missed.
Definitely. Who you got?
So for super sub, I'll have, really for the actual super sub, I'm going to give it to Nicola Stulic, I think is how you pronounce it, getting the winning goal to keep Lecce afloat in their match that they won, I think, against Torino 3-2, getting that third goal for them. Or no, was it Sassuolo? I think it was Sassuolo. I will say then for my super dud, I put Arsenal just because I want them to have a dud. But I got reminded, as you were talking about Real Madrid, about the press conference from Florentino Perez, where he just went off. I don't remember all the different points because it was such a crazy standoff. Basically, he's saying like, "I'm like the hardest worker here. I don't know.
None of this is my fault.
None of this is my fault.
Referees, reporters. I don't remember if he called out the players. Like, it was
Yeah,
It gave me Trump. It gave me Trump vibes, honestly.
Oh, for sure. How do you think he got his, idea for a super league and got backing from American investors on that? Because again, he was one of the ones that wanted the super league.
Yep.
So his Real Madrid could never have accountability for them sucking and him being a terrible boss. So I think I got to give it to that. I just hope some of those vibes just rub up on Arsenal, because I really just don't want Arsenal to win the Premier League
or the Champions League.
Or the Champions League. That too. Thank you for reminding me, Paul. So
you're welcome. Which, by the way, we have that coming up.
It's coming up this weekend, right?
Is it this weekend, or is it 2 weekends from now?
I thought it was next weekend.
I always forget.
Because this weekend is Yeah,
it's the next weekend. I always forget. Memorial Day's early this year, so it's usually a Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, which is nice because then we can party on. You could party on Sunday and then have Monday off, but not gonna happen this time.
Nope.
But yes. So anyway, for then, Paul, did you want to expand on your Superdud? Because I know it's both a sub and a dud. This one with Lewandowski leaving.
I can. Yeah, I said it mostly in the Barcelona segment, but just, it's sad to see him go, and great to see all the fans stay after the match and listen to him speak, watching the entire team, literally the entire team that was on the field rushed over to him when he was being subbed off, including the goalkeeper. And he's the striker, so he's nowhere close to the goalie. Seeing that, just the family that Barcelona has. I mean, the players then took him and threw him up in the air, after the match, and it makes sense watching kind of highlights from the celebration parade after the league was won. He just had the look of, it's over. Like, I am just soaking this all in because this is the last one. He just kind of had that kind of air to him on the in the victory parade. Yeah. And I kind of noticed it a little bit, but I was like, maybe, but I think he had made up his mind too at that point. So, but yeah, just really great to see. I mean, Joan Laporta came out, and one of I think, was it the sporting director? I don't remember. Somebody else high up in the board walked out with Lewandowski's family to give him a thank you and, hugs and, salutations, whatever, all the accolades, whatever. It just feels like a family. It really does. Yeah. And I'm so blessed that I can be a part of this family.
Yep. Yeah. That's what soccer does, and that's what club soccer like this does, is that you feel that part of that family and community there. So yeah, just another family member added into the ranks there. Yep. So we'll have to wait for see who's the next one will be. But with that, I think we're going to wrap it up here, Paul. But guys, stay tuned for our last show of the regular club season coming up next weekend. We'll see if we can get to it, or if it might be a little bit later in the week. I'll have to chat with Paul on this. But guys, until then, keep your eyes on those bottom battles. Keep your eyes on those European battles. Yes, I knew I'd get it. I knew I'd get a smile from that.
Yep.
So good. And it's definitely and stay posted for everything Champions League, and then what even the summer looks like, because holy cow, we have a World Cup that's coming to us somehow, some way, for the summer. So we'll have to chat about that for our World Cup times. But until then, everybody, I have been Andy. Paul's been Paul, and with that, I'm wishing you all a big old bye.
Bye.
Bye.